Hi, my name is Stephen Sindoni. Thank you for tuning into the broadcast of Strategic Insight. In today's program, I will put the spotlight on recent events that reek of social injustice against the citizens of the United States. The events I'm referring to are from the Occupy Wall Street movement that is happening in New York and throughout the country. But today I will put the spotlight on New York City. I will begin our program today with a short YouTube video taken by YouTube subscriber B-Field Football. The video clip is entitled, One Marine versus 30 Cops. So I'd like to set up the video. The Marine's name is Sergeant Shamar Thomas from Roosevelt, New York. And displayed now is his photo. So let's go to the videotape.
Hurting U.S. citizens! This is the United States of America! Why are you hurting people? If you want to go kill and hurt people, go to Iraq. Why are you hurting U.S. citizens? Why? What sense does it make? Do you get honor out of this? Do you get honor out of hitting people with the times? Is that what you get? Why are you doing this?
Let's back up here. We gotta walk down the block one way another, please.
We're just trying to move you up the block.
Why are y'all walking like there's a war going on? Nobody has guns! Why are y'all treating people like this? This is America! Why are y'all treating people like this? Why are y'all gearing up like this is war? This is not war!
Let's go, folks. We can,
This is not war!
please.
Why are y'all acting like this? Nobody has guns! It takes a tough guy to act like this!
Let's go, folks.
Trying to hurt people without guns! Nobody's trying to hurt you guys! There are no bullets flying out here!
Folks, we can...
There are no bullets flying! How tough are you? How tough are you? There is no honor in hurting unarmed civilians. You get no respect.
What did you see tonight that bothered you?
I was here on October 5th. I saw them beating people, people that had nothing to do with anything, just grabbing people out the crowd. There's no honor in that. My mom, my father, everybody has served in Iraq, Afghanistan. Well, I did 14 months in Iraq. My father was in Afghanistan. My mother did a year in Iraq. We fought for this country. I don't come home. I'm in New York City. I am from New York City, and these cops are hurting people that I fought to protect. There's no reason for this. There's no honor in hurting unarmed civilians, and I won't let it happen. Have a good night. What's your name? Roosevelt, New York. Sergeant Shamar Thomas. Roosevelt, New York.
After watching this emotionally charged video on social injustice against the citizens of New York City, I felt compelled to create this video that you are watching today. Many people who are now protesting are being hurt by the New York Police Department, and many others have been arrested. Make no mistake about it, there is a war going on in the streets. What I like to do here today is share with you an analogy that you can draw from to show you how you, as U.S. citizens, can fight back and win this battle in New York City. But in order to win this battle, you must leave your ego at the door before you leave to go out to protest. As a young lad growing up in Brooklyn, I liked to play baseball. So when I would go to the park, we would go out and we'd have to choose up sides. So two people were chosen to be the captains for each team. So in this example, I will use Ray Kelly, the New York Police Department Commissioner, as one of the captains. And it just so happens I have a slide of Ray Kelly for you to look at. And on Ray Kelly's team, he's got 22 districts of police officers to choose from. And Ray Kelly's strategy is to win the game at all costs, and that means locking up as many of you protesters as possible. And in this example, let's say we are the home team, we are the New York Yankees, and I'm Derek Jeter. But on my team, not only do we have all-stars and superstars, we've got a manager, batting coach, pitching coach, first base coach, third base coach, bench coach, bullpen catcher, and an assortment of other people that are going to help us win this game. We're going to outthink the opposition. And because we have coaches on our sidelines, our coaches have picked up a major flaw in our game plan. So what I'd like to do now is roll clip number 2. So I'd like to set up this clip. The clip is entitled OWC-NYC. It was put up by the Top V blog on YouTube. So let's roll the clip.
My name's Francis O'Shea. I'm a real estate agent. I was born and raised here in New York, and I got out of work early today, so I haven't come down to see this thing yet, so I figured I'd come and check it out. Us jaded, Generation Z or whatever we are, don't really see, we never really saw any demonstrations coming up. We see this kind of stuff in videos and documentaries, so it's kind of refreshing, It doesn't sound like most of the people here really know what they want, or at least, let me rephrase that. sounds like all the people here that know what they want seem to want a different thing.
Well, it's now time to have a plan of action. You can't get what you want until you know what you want. And to hammer my point home, if we went to a restaurant and we spoke to a waiter, the waiter would ask us, "What would you like to order?" Thoughts and ideas have a way of escaping. You must write them down on paper if you want them to materialize and become a reality. It is time for the Occupy Wall Street movement to choose leaders and to delegate authority and send out monitors to write down all the people's concerns and complaints about what is wrong with this country. And by doing so, you will be able to draft legislation to make an immediate and effective change in our government by creating the 28th Amendment. It is time to become proactive and stay unemotional and be in total control of the situation. And there is no need to be confrontational with the NYPD. I will now provide helpful advice from the coach's box so that way we win this battle. The photo you are now looking at is one with me with a hoodie on and a hat and making it very difficult to recognize who I really am. And because there are photographic cameras all over New York City, no one will be able to figure out who I really am. And I will not be carrying any identification so that way I can be identified. And if for some reason I was stopped by law enforcement, I would not answer any questions whatsoever. And I know full well that by speaking I would only incriminate myself. And if for unforeseeable reason that I was arrested, the police only have 2 hours that they can hold me if they cannot verify my identity. And they then have to let me go. And if I were to be confronted by law enforcement, I would make sure that I wrote down the police officer's badge number, license plate of the car they were driving, and what police precinct I was taken to. I would tell the arresting officer that I demand to speak to his supervisor, and I would then tell his supervisor that I was taken against my will and I was kidnapped by the police officer. And if I had to appear in front of a court magistrate or judge, I would tell the judge I was taken against my will, I was kidnapped, and I want to file charges against the police officer, and I want to start a civil suit immediately. And I would in no way sign any paperwork they put in front of me. If I was forced to sign paperwork, underneath my name, I would put in parentheses, signed under duress, and I would use that if I had to appear in front of a judge or a court magistrate. And now I would like to go on to our third example, so I've got another video clip for you to watch. Our third video clip is entitled, Citibank Customers Arrested for Trying to Close Accounts. This was put out by Benjamin Fulford. So let's go to the videotape.
There are 25 people right now inside the Citibank that we're at right now. What are you trying to get? He's trying to get? Yeah. Oh, myself. What do you need the lawyers? Yeah, but I'm the whole no. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God! What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't be dominated right now! He's not doing anything! He's not doing anything wrong! Oh my God! What are you doing? This is wrong! This is wrong! It's wrong! It's wrong! Shame! 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 You should be ashamed! Disgusting! You're absolutely disgusting! Completely fucked up! Get back. Let's go. Well, this is a video.
Does it piss you off? Well, it does me. Well, now let me tell you what we should do about it. And the advice I will give everyone listening and watching is do not enrage or engage the enemy. Don't get mad, get even. The only difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowing what to do next. So I'll now use another example. The slide you're looking at is from chase.com. On the right, I would simply click on online services or go down to account transfers and click on account transfers. And we would now be redirected to the account transfer page. And on this page, I would transfer money from my savings account to my checking account. And if my account wasn't already set up to do so, I would set it up to do so immediately. I would then go and find a credit union that was nearby and open up an account there. And I would use a check from my checking account from Citibank to open up my new bank account with the credit union. I would then write 3 checks to my credit union and I would deplete both of my accounts of savings and checking account, leaving only a small balance of example of $25 and then going to the bank at some later date just to close out the account, and handling the whole matter with grace and ease. So here we are getting down to the home stretch. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning and the home team is at bat. But we're not fighting any longer. We're now being peaceful. We're using our heads to think. We are not getting arrested. We are no longer fighting back. And as I said earlier, it's going to take a team effort. And we will now take the information that we've gathered to Washington to create the 28th Amendment and change this country. And in closing, I'd like to remind everyone that what's happening on Wall Street is a direct result of what the congressmen, senators, and the president have put into motion. The unscrupulous shyster banksters could not have done it without the president, the Congress, and the lobbyists in Washington. It is time we get in gear and head to Washington where the problem really resides and get rid of the Obamonomics now. And on that day in the not too distant future, I will see all of you in Washington. I'd like to thank everyone for watching Strategic Insight.